terrestrial platform and channel CP15 on the Crystal platform. Ahead in this bulletin, Lower Manya NDC reiterates stance of national chairman for the party not to sign peace pact ahead of the December polls until conditions put forward are met. National Peace Council urges journalists to be factual in their reports ahead of the December polls as it seeks to convince all political parties to sign on to a peace pact. And in business, Cocoa Board announces it will not seek offshore syndicated loan in purchase of cocoa bean. We have details to these and more in the next 30 minutes. Please be my guest. I am Sena Alormene. You can follow Marego TV on all social media platforms at Marego TV. The details now. The former Lower Manya Kobo chairman of the NDC, David Walker, has reiterated the party's decision not to sign a peace pact ahead of the December elections unless specific conditions are met. This follows concerns raised by the party's national chairman, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, who argued that previous peace pacts have failed to deliver the desired result in past elections, prompting the party's current stance. At a press conference, Mr. Esiedu Nketia outlined a 6-point set of conditions that the National Peace Council must fulfill before the NDC would agree to sign the peace pact. These conditions include requiring signatures from key officials, including the President, the Inspector General of Police, the Chief Justice, the National Security Coordinator, and the Attorney General. Speaking on Morning Dew, David Walker, the former chairman for the Lower Manya NDC constituency, expressed support for the national chairman's position.
It's a pact, be it bond, be it a covenant, be it whichever it is, it can all be grounded on one thing, which is trust. It must be grounded on trust. And trust is not something somebody can just use the mouth to convince you that you should trust him. Activities, actions, and inactions can make you develop trust for a certain system or somebody, or not to trust. And NDC is saying something very simple, fundamental, which is grounded in law, which is grounded in morality. The fact is this: there has been several electoral violence, electoral altercations. Things happen which the moral society feels that is not the best for our politics or for our elections. We have peace council in this country, we have national security in this country, and then we have the government in this country. They sat down aloof. There has not been actions, there has not been anything to remedy the situation. So in order not to belabor the point or to take much time, I will just zero in on 2020 elections. The violences that came with the electioneering campaigns, and also on the D-Day, the shooting incidents in Accra, shooting incidents in Techima South, which resulted in the death of 8 people. 1 person died in Accra. And even before then, the shooting incident at Ayawaso West Wagon. Peace Council was in this country. The government is there. The judiciary is there. Civil society organizations are there. But you agree with me that no action has been taken. The death of those who fell during the 2020 election has not been investigated. No action from anybody. And some of the seats that were won by MPP are questionable because there were violent incidents that made the pronouncement of the results very, very questionable. And because of those shootings and other things, yes, we felt that the government did not do anything, the Peace Council could not do anything. And for that matter, if you are calling NDC to come and sign peace pact or whatever it is, then there should be that assurance that really, when this peace pact is signed, it is going to be respected by all parties.
However, a member of the MPP communication team for Lower Manya, Emmanuel Angmote, dismissed the NDC's agreement.
Talking about election 2024 peace issue, you see, human beings, we are difficult to change characters. And the way we are likely to maintain that attitude, maybe till we die. That is why when we look at the voting pattern of people, it doesn't change easily. If this town votes for NDC or MPP, it stays there over a long period of time. The one making the statement, Chairman Asidu Getia, okay, you can see that from time memorial, this man is not committed to peace. It's a known fact in this country that Chairman Asidu Getia is not committed to peace at all. The very person who told us in this country that any idiot can go to court. You see, today, he is afraid of going to court because he said any idiot can go to court. Coming back to these election issues, the things he has stated that is going to cause him to sign peace, this thing. You see, Ghanaians, we are peace-loving. Ghanaians, we are peace-loving. In 2012, the MPP went to the Supreme Court. They were not happy with the election results. The Supreme Court looked into it, and they said, what the EC declared, it's perfect. So let it go. And former President John Dramani Mahama, his election was affirmed by the Supreme Court. Few years later, the NDC also went to court to challenge the 2020 elections. The Supreme Court upheld again that what was declared by the EC is good to go by. Madam, do you know the wonderful thing in this country? When whatever results EC calls, it's not different from the media houses, coalitions they are also doing. You and I know that when coalition is going on in this country, our media houses don't fold their arms and sit down. They are also collating alongside. I know that the very day Ghana will have problem during an election that may lead us to war is when the media house collate and project a particular candidate as the winning candidate, and EC comes out to give us the other one.
Meanwhile, the National Peace Council is urging journalists to remain factual in their reporting as the December elections approach, emphasizing the critical task of securing commitments of all political parties to a peace pact. Here's the council's chairman, Dr. Ernest Edujemfi, addressing the press earlier.
Keep telling us there cannot be peace when there is no justice, expecting the Peace Council to take on the role of cases that are even in the courts. Again, Act 818 does not give the Peace Council the power to prosecute anybody. Others have asked the council, why are you not calling the executive to order to sustain the peace we are all enjoying? Hate speech, misinformation, and disinformation has become widespread in recent times, particularly with the online news platforms and on social media. As we gear up for this year's election, the need to tackle the spread of false information and manipulative narratives has never been more pressing. And this is where editors, you are mostly needed to manage the information that gets to the public domain. Misinformation has become a weapon in the world of politics, capable of influencing public opinion and potentially swaying election outcomes, but they can also lead to war. The 2020 elections were no exception, as false narratives and misleading content spread like wildfire. The consequences of these actions cannot be underestimated. One of the most significant impacts of misinformation on the election process is the erosion of trust in the democratic system. When voters are bombarded with false information, it becomes increasingly difficult for them to make informed decisions. This undermines the very foundation of democracy and leaves voters feeling disillusioned and manipulated.
Moving on, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital says it has reopened the outpatient renal dialysis unit after the recent delivery of some quantity of consumables which were airlifted into the country. Here are excerpts of a statement.
The Teaching Hospital says it is pleased to announce the reopening of the outpatient renal dialysis service effective immediately. This prompt reopening has been made possible by the recent delivering of some quantity of the consumables which were airlifted into the country yesterday. The renal dialysis unit has therefore already scheduled patients to start their dialysis session tomorrow. Apart from this emergency consignment, the Ministry of Finance has granted a tax waiver to expedite the clearance of the second container at Tema Port. We anticipate receiving these additional supplies within the week, further strengthening the availability of these essential consumables for our services. The hospital expressed its profound gratitude to Ministry of Health, Finance and other stakeholders for ensuring the timely availability of these consumables. We also extend our heartfelt appreciation to our renal patients for their patience and cooperation during this period. As a hospital, we remain committed to delivering the highest standard of care and has reviewed the process involved in securing these essential suppliers to forestall a recurrence of another break in the provision of renal dialysis service to our valued patients. The Teaching Hospital says it is pleased to announce the reopening of the outpatient renal dialysis service effective immediately. This prompt reopening has been made possible by...
Interact with us on all social media platforms at Marego TV. Up next, business update with Percy Konote.
With me, Percy Konote. Now to our stories. Deputy Government Statistician Dr. Sena Alormene has revealed that Ghana's youth population is expected to reach 15.8 million by the year of 2030. This projection was made based on current demographic change, trends, and population growth rates in the country. Dr. Alormene and other team members who are involved in population projections include experts, demographics, economics, and social sciences. They have been working together to analyze data and trends in order to provide accurate and reliable estimates for Ghana's population.
The age from 15 to 59 years within the country is going to increase. At 2021, we saw that Ashanti region was leading, or KMA number was leading. But from 2024, moving 2027 to 2030, Bonkatamanso is going to lead in that number. Somebody may ask, one of the things on the high side I'll talk about is that some parts of Greater Accra is like land is finished. They'll tell you that the land is completed. But these that are at the fringes of these capital towns, that's where people move in to settle because they can't space and other things. So now we've seen that the numbers there, both the school going age, the working age group is increasing in these areas that we are talking about. When you have a lot of people in this age group, there's something we call the demographic dividend. The demographic dividend is that when people get to the age in which they are going to get jobs or working status, they require education, they require skills, and they require employment. And so if a third of your population now is within this group, do they have their skills? Do they have their training? Do they have their education? So if we've given you that you don't have money, But I've told you that 1/3 of your people are in this group. Where will you invest your money?
Today, dissemination of Ghana's population prospects, district population projections, and the platform mobile app is timely. It will help us make meaningful analysis on our decentralization and local governance system.
The age from 15 to 59 years within the country is going.
Okay, so to some other stories, the Ghana Cocoa Board has announced that it will not be seeking an offshore syndicated loan for the purchase of cocoa beans. This decision was confirmed by the CEO of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahen Edu, who stated that the board has opted not to pursue this financial option for the upcoming cocoa season. Mr. Edu further stated that Cocoa Board will continue to work closely with stakeholders in the cocoa industry to explore innovative and financing solutions that support the growth and development of the sector. The board remains focused on improving livelihoods of cocoa farmers and promoting sustainable cocoa production practices in Ghana.
For the first time in the history of Ghana Cocoa Board wants to win itself from the offshore syndication. We want to be self-financed. Since 1992, Cocoa Board has been going offshore to borrow from a syndication of banks, or a consortium of banks. And 32 years, I think, is quite a good time for any human being to learn his or her lessons. 32 years, we've learned our lessons, and we think that it's high time, we weaned ourselves from the offshore international financial market, and then, finance the crop. We've studied the market for the longest while, and we've come to understand the market. I'm not a trader, but right now when I'm speaking, you might think that I'm a trader, because we've come to understand all the intricacies in the market, and not just the trade, but even financials, And you all agree that if you've been doing syndication for 32 years, do you have to continue to be in the same situation? You don't change. You don't change. I don't think so. You have to change. So now we've taken the decision that we've studied everything and come to the conclusion that it's time for us to change. And last year we were, if anything, it was even last year when we started. How come last year we went to the traders? So it's not that maybe it's out of desperation no. Last 2 years, those who followed my stories, last 2 years I was in the Gulf. Looking for.
I will take a leave of you on Marego Business News. I am Percy Walker. Sena Alormene continues with the rest of the stories.
Are you thirsty and in need of well-purified water to quench your thirst? I recommend Glorious Natural Mineral Water. Produced through reverse osmosis to the highest quality, this highly purified water is perfect for any occasion, being it wedding ceremonies, parties, funerals, engagements, and many more. Contact Glorious Natural Mineral Water on 0548 493522 or 0503 130395. We produce in bulk quantities, so just let us know how much you need. We are located at Bon Ahunjo off the Temakosobo Highway and Dakuman, Nyamiche, Abeche Street. Glorious natural mineral water, so refreshing.
And that was the business update brought to us by Percy Connected. To our last story, and perhaps this will crack your rib, and a brief moment of laughter seized the tension at the Public Accounts Committee sitting when an officer from the Ghana Education Service admitted to receiving an overpayment of 15,000 Ghana cedis. The PAC sessions are often tense due to the nature of the questions posed by the committee members. However, Emmanuel Sampson, a teacher at Ekropon number 1DA JHS in the Gomwa West District, unintentionally lightened the mood when he explained that he was unaware of the overpayment until auditors reviewed the accounts.
Which was more than the amount you were expecting. Did you know at that time when you received the salary?
No, please. When I got the money, I thought it was my money until the auditors came in.
But like we say in local settings, you have chopped the money. Mr. Sampson.
Yes, please.
You've chopped the money.
Yes, boss.
I see. All right, so we are grateful for your sincerity. You agreed to pay 500 cedis a month.
Yes, please.
At a point, you stopped in paying. What is the challenge with that? Once you have agreed to pay.
In fact, I started paying, and after I paid 2 months, I had a problem, so I couldn't continue anymore. So I went to the office and then discussed it with the director, and I promised that I'm having an investment, which will end ending of this month. So if the money comes, I'll try if I can pay everything off, or if I'll pay part of it.
How much is your investment?
Okay, the investment is supposed to be 18,000.
Well, yes, 18,000. You are able to cover the remaining amount, but probably maybe investments are meant for. We will not stretch you that much. Take your time. And please pay the money. We want you to pay the money, but okay, don't break the bank in paying the money. Okay. Yes, so please, if by end of month you have all the money and you think you can pay, kindly do that and pay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think that the promise that you have given, that is the reason why you pay only 2 months and stopped, is that you have an investment, and when the investment matures at the end of August this year, you pay the balance. So we'll go by that. Okay. The instruction is that at the end of the month, go for investment, go and clear all the balance. Whatever is left for you is for you. Okay? Mr. Sampson.
Yes, I've heard you, boss.
Don't go for the investment and then come back and say there was another problem, so you can't. Make sure if you don't, we will ask the committee we'll ask the auditors to take full action, because what you did is actually criminal.
Okay.
But we'll leave that aspect. We'll allow you to go for the investment and pay the money. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank
so
you.
you are discharged.
And this is how we wrap up today's edition of Marego News at 6. Do interact with us on all social media handles at Marego TV. And for more news, log into maregotv.com. I am Sena Alormene. Many thanks for your time.
Alpha and Omega. I give you all.
Welcome to Marego Shopping Mall with Different, where a variety of local and imported goods are sold. Items like cooking oil, sauces, beverages, assorted body soap, shower gels, toiletries, body creams, beauty facial wash and creams. Items for oral hygiene like charcoal toothpaste, toothbrush, and mouthwash. Talk